It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE, 855-51-BIBLE.
At United Federal Credit Union, we'd like to be the first to say welcome home with a mortgage loan made just for you. Whether you're looking for a construction or lot loan for your future dream home or a mortgage for a home you can move into right away, our expert advisors will help you find the way to your new front door. Get started today with our easy online application at unitedfcu.com/mortgage. United Federal Credit Union. We get you. Insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 471962.
From the Pat Moody Studios, this is News Talk Sports 94.9. WSJM FM Benton Harbor, St. Joseph. Depend on us. The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
And 70 degrees outside right now, a heat advisory in effect, although it feels pretty comfortable outside right now. We'll take a look at what's happening in world and national news, come back and look at local news and give you the full forecast. It's WSJM.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. With the showdown less than a week away now, this is presidential debate prep time for the same two men who ran against each other 4 years ago. ABC's Rachel Scott with more on President Biden and former President Trump's weekend plans.
At Camp David, Biden's former chief of staff, Ron Klain, will lead the prep sessions, which will include full 90-minute mock debates with the president standing at a mock podium.
Now, Joe Biden,
Trump taking a different approach.
Is anybody going to watch the debate?
No mock debates for him. Instead, sources say Trump has held more than a dozen policy meetings with Republican allies, including Senators J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio, and his longtime political advisor, Kellyanne Conway.
Heat and hot weather getting the blame for a mass transit meltdown along the Northeast corridor that stretches from Washington to New York City up toward Boston. Amtrak trains were all kinds of messed up on Thursday, says ABC's Irene Shaw.
Major disruptions along the nation's busiest rail corridor. A broken circuit breaker forcing Amtrak to suspend service for hours from Philadelphia through New York City to New Haven, Connecticut.
The Amtrak problems bled over into commuter rail problems in New York. Massive headache during the evening rush. With a large number of cases yet to be decided, the Supreme Court will deliver more opinions today.
17 cases still left to come down from the Supreme Court, more than half of those of major political and social significance. A lot is going to be packed into the next 7 days or so before the justices go on their summer break. And the security fencing is up around the Supreme Court. They're really preparing for another blockbuster finale.
That's ABC's Devin Dwyer. Among the cases left to be announced, whether presidents, including Donald Trump, should be allowed absolute immunity from criminal prosecution. Russia's ambassador to South Korea summoned to South Korea's foreign ministry following that pact that was signed between Russia and North Korea earlier this week. You're listening to ABC News.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text ALL to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text ALL to 321-321. That's all to 321-321.
WSJM News Now. Team coverage from the WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
And taking a look at some of the local news stories that we're following for you today after our weather forecast. We're expecting partly cloudy skies today, a slight chance of showers or storms. Mostly it's just going to be hot and humid, a high inland 93. A little cooler by the beaches today, so that's good news for lest we forget as they do the setup. Tonight, rather, partly cloudy skies, a slight chance of showers or storms, warm and muggy conditions, a low around 73 degrees, and some southwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow, partly cloudy skies, a slight chance of showers and storms during the day, becoming a 40% chance at night. Hot and humid again, high around 95 tomorrow. Southwest winds 10 to 20 miles per hour with gusts possible up to 30. Sunday, looking at more of the same, although it's going to be a hair cooler, high around 85. And then Monday, we're really going to see cooler temperatures and less humidity, a high only expected around 82 degrees. Some of the local news stories that we're following for you today: the Nuclear Regulatory Commission will discuss the 2023 safety performance of the Cook Nuclear Power Plant during an open house meeting next week. The NRC tells us that this is a yearly meeting for the public to talk directly with those who monitor the plant on a day-to-day basis.
The NRC staff will be out there in person. That includes the NRC's senior resident inspector and the resident inspector who are based at the plant. They're federal inspectors who go to work regularly over at the D.C. Cook plant, and they represent the United States Nuclear Regulatory Commission. They'll be over there in person, available to address in person any questions or concerns from members of the public.
That's the NRC's Prima Chandra. Chandra says the NRC has determined the D.C. Cook plant operated safely during 2023, as all inspection findings and performance indicators were green or very low safety significance. As a result, the plant remains under the NRC's baseline level of oversight, which still entails thousands of hours of inspections, they say, each year. Anyone with questions or concerns about the Cook plant's operations are invited to the open house next week. That'll happen Thursday at Silver Beach Center in St. Joseph from 3 to 4:30. In the meantime, we have a link for more information at our website, WSJM.com. Possible state changes to a conservation program popular among area farmers are being opposed by the Marion County Board of Commissioners. At Thursday's meeting, commissioners discussed a state budget proposal that would eliminate local administration of the Michigan Agriculture Environmental Assurance Program. That program, known as MEAP, is run by local conservation districts, and it pairs farmers with voluntary conservation technicians who advise the farmers. However, the governor is considering replacing those voluntary technicians with a team of about 24 state employees. Speaking on Thursday, Marion County Commissioner John Hinkleman said this does not sit well with farmers.
I do know what the majority of the people who utilize the program want, and they want it to remain voluntary. And I don't know if there's anything that this board can do in sending the same type of communication to the other counties, but it is something that should be thought about.
Commissioner Terry Freeling suggested the board approve a resolution officially opposing the possible change.
The key elements that I would love to see in our resolution would be that the texts remain local, co-located in our conservation districts and not as state employees, and that the program remain voluntary.
Commissioners instructed County Administrator Brian Doucette to draft up a resolution expressing their opposition to the idea. Doucette said he would check with the county's consultant in Lansing to find out if the MEAP changes are still part of the ongoing budget talks. If they are, commissioners could take up the resolution at their next meeting. And the Summer Art Hop happens tonight. The Benton Harbor Arts District is preparing for its annual Summer Art Hop featuring local artists, musicians, and more. Since the late 90s, the Benton Harbor Arts Association has made a goal to highlight the community through art and show people how vibrant the arts district is. Nick Gunn, organizer of the event, said it's a great time to meet different people from Southwest Michigan.
It brings you down to the arts district, and you have all the time in the world. Just go into different businesses you may have never gone into before and get acquainted to the district. Hopefully they'll come back and visit.
On Friday night, the evening will be filled with local businesses and artists showcasing the arts district. At least 14 businesses are participating, showcasing their art, their food, and their entertainment.
We want to show people in surrounding areas that the arts district is a vibrant community in Benton Harbor, and we want to highlight that as much as possible. And by doing these events, we've been doing them for a long time. It just shows different people from around Southwest Michigan what Benton Harbor is all about.
The event takes place tonight, 5 to 8 p.m. at the Arts District in downtown Benton Harbor. For more information, you can visit their website, bentonharborarts.com/events. And that's a look at some of the local news stories that we're following for you from the WSJM newsroom. We'll be back with a couple of key conversations. We'll talk with Larry Wozniak. Pardon the mispronunciation on the last name. I thought Steve Wozniak, your uncle. No, All right. We'll turn your microphone on in just a minute, but we'll talk about, lest we forget, it's the 80th anniversary of the D-Day invasion, and they're commemorating with a reenactment. It's happening this weekend. We'll also talk with Mike Weibel, talking a little bit about financial stuff. The Baird Private Wealth Management here to talk about the team being at your disposal to help with some real-life questions. We'll talk about that in just a moment on the WSJM Morning Show.
MLB hosting the tribute to the Negro Leagues last night, honoring the legacy of the Negro League players and Willie Mays, who passed away at the age of 93 on Tuesday night. St. Louis won the game 6-5 over San Francisco. The game being played at Rickwood Field in Birmingham, Alabama. Close at home, the Astros beat the White Sox yesterday afternoon 5-3 in Chicago. The White Sox are back in action tonight at the Tigers at 6:40. The Tigers were off last night. The pregame show tonight on WSJM is at 6:15. The Cubs are also off last night. They host the New York Mets this afternoon at 2:20. Matinee basketball in the WNBA yesterday. Kennedy Carter and Marina Mabrey scored 19 points each. And Angel Reese recorded her 7th consecutive double-double to set a WNBA rookie record as the Chicago Sky beat Dallas 83-72. Reese had 16 points and 18 rebounds. Sunday, Chicago hosts Indiana at 4 o'clock. Game 6 of the NHL's Stanley Cup Final tonight has Florida at Edmonton at 8 o'clock. The Panthers lead the series 3-2 and will try again for the franchise's first Stanley Cup in franchise history. With sports, I'm Dave Wolf.
If you're like many, when you're looking for a vehicle these days, you tend to think of value. You're interested in quality, reliability, and good fuel economy. That's what brings many people to Signature Dealer Group as Berrien County's #1 new car dealer. Hi, I'm Bill Crowder. To add to that long-term value, both Toyota and Hyundai offer complimentary maintenance for up to 3 years. That's right, free oil changes and maintenance. But at Signature, we're adding even more. With our Signature $25 Club, you get oil changes for just $25 on any new vehicle or gold certified pre-owned. $25 oil changes for up to 7 years or 100,000 miles. Right now, our customers are finding a great selection of new Toyotas, Hyundais, and certified pre-owned vehicles with interest rates as low as 0%. If you're thinking of value, stop in and see us at Signature Dealer Group, Napier Union, Benton Harbor, and 24/7 at signaturedealergroup.com.
You got a signature on it.
Silly, careless human. You unleashed my power. Just try and stop me. I dare you.
Debris burning is the leading cause of wildfires in Michigan. All it takes is a spark.
Play with me, and you will get burned.
Don't go starting something wild. Burn safely by contacting your local fire department or visiting michigan.gov/burn permit. Sponsored by the Michigan Department of Natural Resources and the Michigan Association of Broadcasters.
You believe in a free enterprise. You fully embrace capitalism. You operate a business in your community which creates jobs in a competitive
because we're on the live
marketplace.
stream now. Let me turn that piece off and that piece off. See, if I turn up the microphones, you stop razzing me about getting married all of a sudden.
Well, you didn't tell anybody. We sat here and, we're like, hey, what are you doing this weekend? And, I'm doing this. And you're like, nothing.
Well, I mean, the
Hour
agreement
later,
was
you get married.
that we keep it quiet and a nice private ceremony. We didn't want the paparazzi out there.
So we should be calling this Ken and Associates rather than Ken and Friends.
No.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's low. Come on, Mike. All right, we'll come back. We'll talk with Mike Weibel in just a moment. We're also going to talk with Larry Wozniak, talk about Lest We Forget. That's coming up. It's the WSJM Morning Show. Thank you for suffering through our technical difficulties. I got to talk to the boss about the internet bills. Just make sure
I thought you were the boss.
Oh, nobody told me. All right, we'll be right back. All right, it's going to be a beautiful Friday one way or another. Thanks for joining us. And for those of you on the video live stream, thanks for suffering through our technical difficulties there. I promise it wasn't me this time. I pushed all the right buttons. It was the internet was refusing to cooperate. We're going to talk in a few moments with Larry Wozniak to talk about the 80th anniversary of the D-Day invasion and talk about Lest We Forget and their reenactment that's happening at Tiscornia Beach. tomorrow, and you're setting up today. So we'll talk about that in just a moment. But first, we wanted to squeeze Mike Weibel in here from Baird Private Wealth Management for a couple of key messages. Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing well.
Okay. I feel like last week we discovered there was a rivalry between St. Joseph and Lakeshore basketball, former alumni, current alumni, former players on the basketball court, because Brett played for St. Joseph, or at least he fouled for St. Joseph, and Mike played for Lakeshore.
Mike played, yeah.
Tried to play without getting hurt.
But one of the things that we wanted to talk to you, Mike, this morning about Baird Private Wealth Management is that you have a full team there to help with a lot of different questions. And the questions typically arise when people are experiencing life planning, life changes to their life, and that sort of thing. You want to talk a little bit about what your team is ready to handle and when it's the right time to come talk to you?
Sure. You know, the thing is life is so much better if you have a plan. And so many times we love to think that life is very linear, but we all know that's not true.
Right.
Life happens.
Sometimes you get married on a Friday. You never can tell.
Don't tell anybody you
without
know.
telling,
right?
right?
It's just like a big
Sandwich
secret.
for 3 hours.
I know. We're not offended about it at all.
It doesn't bother us.
No.
You guys were part of the celebration.
We were friends, but now we're associates.
Oh, that's okay. Cool. That's all right.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on. Anyhow, so when we have these situations where you realize life is there's going to be potholes in life.
Yes.
And trying to prepare for what you can is important, but it's virtually, especially in your financial life, to have a written document, a plan that you can visualize what life is going to look like is vital. We think it's vital anyhow. And with that comes a lot that goes with it. I mean, there's an estate plan. I mean, what are you going to do with your estate? Just had a conversation with somebody not too long ago that, you know, there's a lot of times families will get to a point where they think, well, you know, when I pass away, my kids will work it out.
Yeah.
We've seen numerous times where that just turns into, you know, basically
family fights and
chaos,
feelings hurt.
World War II reenactment
There you
all over
go.
again, and it's all because there wasn't a plan. Nothing was communicated. You know, any good relationship needs communication. So when people are planning their life, whether this is, you know, you're in a job change, in a death of a spouse, when you're getting married, something like that. All these things are life changes that really need to be thought about as far as a plan. So when people come to us, whether they're just getting started in life, 25 years old, graduating college and thinking about laying out their life, or whether they're thinking about retiring, we always encourage them to start off with getting a financial plan. Once we get that done, then we can look at tax planning. We can look at estate planning, business planning. Baird, the great thing about Baird is that it has a deep bench of resources. And so we have a merger and acquisition department that helps people with valuations of their company and their business.
He just got merged.
Yeah. Give him a valuation now. He's
or was it an acquisition? We're not sure.
No, merger. It was a merger.
Okay, all right.
And so when you are in a situation where you're thinking about selling your business or any of those questions that come up in life, we have not just in our office, we've got a financial planner in our office, we have somebody that helps with tax preparation in our office, but we also have a back office full of professionals that are there to serve and be a resource to our clients. One of the things that's happening today in the financial world is a lot of banks that used to have trust departments are now pulling those back. And so you don't have trust officers in banks like you used to. But and we have a trust department. In fact, our trust department is, don't think about it, but it's as big as Raymond James and Stifel's combined together is our trust department. It's a huge trust department.
Yeah. Why are the banks pulling back? I'm curious.
Resources, just about resources, you know, and so as they pull back their services with that, or a lot of times when they do take a relationship, then they pull away from the local support of the attorneys, the CPAs, the families have worked with for decades. At Baird, we keep everybody intact. So if somebody says, hey, I need trust services, you still keep your CPA, you still keep everybody that you have been working with in that team of relationships, and we just add that layer of assistance to a family. So really, to answer, that's a long answer to a short question, but when somebody is in a position in life where they're thinking about planning, retiring, life, I mean, to us, it's important to come and see us and ask questions and ask for a plan. I mean, that's what we're there for.
Never too early.
Never too
is
early.
what I'm hearing. Is it ever too late? Obviously, if you're pushing up daisies, that might be too late.
Might be a little too late.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But before that.
Right. No, never too late. So, if we just had a client at the beginning of the year. It's probably his wife was getting ready to retire. He's about 2 years away from retirement. Has always worked for a company where there's a 401k, has never had a financial advisor, didn't know what to expect, didn't know what really to was going to be the experience. So they started checking around. They came and kind of proverbially kicked the tires with us a couple times just because it was a learning curve for them. They had questions. And they felt comfortable and moved their assets over to us. But they had never had a financial plan. They didn't know what was available. They didn't know what to think about or how to merge some of these accounts together. And then even when you've had a 401k that you've always just put money in every paycheck, his thought was, well, I'm pretty conservatively invested. Well, when we looked at his account, he was 95% in stocks. He's not.
Oh, goodness gracious! Okay.
So he just didn't know.
Okay.
I mean, he didn't know. So those are types of things. It's never too late to come and just get a second opinion on what's going on. And if things are great, we're happy to tell you you're doing great. But if things need to be adjusted, that's what we're there for.
Easiest way to engage with Baird Private Wealth Management?
Easiest way is to give us a call. Our phone number is 983-7500. We have you can go online to stjoseph.bairdwealth.com is our website. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on X, and you can always call Ken Lundberg because we used to be really
after
close.
he gets done on his wedding.
Yeah, and we used to be really close, but we're working those things out.
You guys are cruel. Mike Weibel, you're a great individual. Thank you. There's not going to be a next wedding, but I would invite you to that if there were.
Well, reception?
Anyway, it's an Mike Weibel is an
that must be tonight, Mike.
I know, yeah.
Forget about
Mike Weibel
What are
is
you
an
doing today?
investment advisor representative with
not going.
Baird Private Wealth Management. The opinions expressed are for general information, should not be considered a solicitation for the purchase or sale of any security. The information is not intended as tax or legal advice. Please consult your legal or tax professional for specific information regarding your individual situation. Don't be hurt. Don't be hurt.
We are.
We're left out. No party.
You had
even our dog
St. Joe rivalry combined here.
Oh man,
we put
you
that
just
aside.
built the bridge for us, but it's over animosity for.
It's the WSJM Morning Show. Larry Wozniak is going to be with us in just a moment, talking about, lest we forget, his people are already on the beach setting up for the 80th commemoration anniversary of the D-Day invasion. We can't wait to talk with you and explore all the questions. It's coming up next on the WSJM Morning Show. Hey, and just a reminder that we're on the video live stream, and sometimes if you don't hear the audio, it's because we've silenced it so that we can make sure that you hear us. And sometimes I forget to push the buttons to make sure everything else is working right. But we're back with Larry Wozniak. We'll be back on the radio airwaves in just a moment. But June means the D-Day invasion anniversary, and you are commemorating the 80th anniversary of that invasion. And that started when? When did you start planning for the 80th
well, the
anniversary?
idea came before last year's event was over because of the 80th anniversary. And there was some disagreement on the board about, we hadn't done it for 10 years. The people who did it 10 years ago are 10 years older. Some of the reenactors are 10 years older. Can we pull this off? But it's come together well. We've had about 80 volunteers already working on it, and through the weekend, and 200 volunteers coming in from all over the Midwest.
So I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
The reenactors, do they play these roles in multiple events, or is it just for you?
And most of them are not military backgrounds. Really? They're just people who like what they do and try to be authentic. And we did find out,
like actors.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And some of them are getting older, like I said, and those are the ones that when they get off the boat and run through the water and get to the first sand dune, then they said they volunteer to die first because they're tired.
Oh,
they're
man.
tired.
That's a good one. You say you've got 80 volunteers that have been working for how long?
Well, for a year.
Okay. And what,
I mean,
what kind of things?
Most of it's more recent, as far as the actual setup time. That takes a lot of time.
Let's talk about the 80 volunteers that have been working for a year. What kind of things are they working on?
Advertising, promotion, getting more volunteers, deciding on which planes we can bring in, which boats we can bring in, where contacting reenactors all over the country. There's just a lot of little things that happen. They have to happen to make all this come together. So.
And how and that piece intrigues me about how to bring in all the people from around the country. How do you get the word out among that community?
Bill and Jan Sheets live in Indianapolis. They've been involved with our group for the last 10 years, probably. They come up every year and they do video and audio explanation about what's happening when a battle's going on or a reenactment's going on. So they describe it. Jan, Bill's wife, has contacts, and they've been doing this for years with all the reenacting groups in the country. So she just puts out, the website and the email, and people start signing up.
Wow. I mean, but yeah, you have to know where to send that. We'll talk about that in just a moment. We're going to come back and rejoin the program here on the radio. We're talking with Larry Wozniak from Lest We Forget. It is the 80th anniversary of the D-Day invasion and commemorating that. And you've got a special T-shirt that you brought in. You want to here, hold that up if you want.
Well,
Brett, could you hold it closer to you want to hold it closer to the camera there?
That's the front, but then
this camera here.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to do some stuff here, but if you're on the live stream, you can see the front and back of that.
And then the back side, we listed all the cemeteries in Europe and how many are buried there and still missing. Of the 405,000 men who died during World War II, there's still 77,000 missing in action.
77,000. Okay, we'll be right back and talk about that. It's the WSJM Morning Show.
Fell 0.8% yesterday. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
All right, turning out to be an incredibly interesting morning because we've got Larry Wozniak in from Lest We Forget.
He's working on that last name. He's got that down now, doesn't he?
I mean, Wozniak, a few billion here or there. Are you related?
My dad was a Wozniak.
Wozniak. Are you related at all to one of the co-founders of Apple?
I wish.
He didn't return the postcards when he was still alive. Okay. But Larry's here to talk about Lest We Forget and the D-Day 80th anniversary. Tell us what people can expect, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit about the reenactors in a moment. But tell us what people can expect down at Tuscarnia this weekend.
We're going to have activities starting at 9 o'clock. And then the main thing is that, there's no parking at Tuscarnia for the public. So we're using 2 parking lots, and with Upton Drive being tore up, it's one of the shuttles at the Whitwam and corner of Whitwam and Upton Drive. That shuttle is about a 10-minute ride to get over to Tuscarnia. And then the other parking lot on Mominy Drive with professional hearing buildings and all those other businesses there is all unpaved parking. So we have parking there. That shuttle's about a 5-minute ride. So that's the main thing. Get to the shuttles, get to the parking lots. Now, you mentioned about bringing your bicycle. Bicycles and motorcycles come right to the beach. We'll let you guys in, but no cars. So, then the activities will start at 9 o'clock.
Okay, 9 o'clock tomorrow morning.
We had the symphony out there playing some, a small group playing some music, patriotic music.
Okay.
We have the flag, the parachute drop scheduled for 9:15 based on the weather. If it's too windy, you can't come down. We understand those things.
How windy is too windy?
He says 10 knots. That's not very windy.
Okay, that's a light breeze. It feels like.
So we're hoping we're gonna make it well. We don't want to end up in Lake Michigan. Although the Coast Guard will be out in Lake Michigan in case he drops out there.
Oh dear. And then and how long will that first reenactment go?
The first battle begins around 10. The planes fly overhead. Lance Hazen from Stephenville and his pyrotechnics team. We have all those set up. We have machine gun strafing and bombs that be going off. All together is $10,000 for pyrotechnics. So it's going to be a show. It's not just a couple bombs here and there. That's going to get people's attention.
Yeah, I'd say.
We hope to have some World War II planes flying over as well. A Yankee Air Museum in Ypsilanti canceled on us.
Oh no!
They have a huge hangar with the planes in the hangar.
Yeah.
The hangar door is now broken. They can't get the planes out of the hangar, and it can't get fixed before our event.
Oh,
So
I'm
that
sorry
was
to hear that.
was a big disappointment.
Okay.
It does save us some money, but because to bring all three planes, it would have been $25,000. But
shoot.
So anyway, we have smaller planes. The pyrotechnics will take the place of the viewing for the planes. The planes are there, but
our WSJM's Andrew Green was down for some of the testing of the pyrotechnics.
Yes, he was,
and he brought back video that was just like amazing. You don't fool around on the beach there.
No, it's gonna be a show, and we're not there to glorify war. We're there to teach people. That's
absolutely.
But there is going to be some excitement.
Yeah, we want to talk about why you do that and why it's that, as you might say, a teachable moment for people to understand, lest we forget. Right?
Exactly.
Talk a little bit more about that.
The schools do talk about World War II, but it's a couple pages in history books, and they move on. Yeah. And it's more important that people know what our veterans did. The freedoms we have today are because of our veterans, and those things are important to people to understand. That's why we came up with the T-shirt, not just a T-shirt with a design on it, but with information on the back that will actually teach them something and remind them how important our veterans were and what our country's gone through.
And I want to explore what's on the T-shirt, some of the thinking behind it, and more about Lest We Forget's commemoration that's happening tomorrow. We'll talk about that with Larry Wozniak in just a few minutes. We'll get our news from ABC in just a moment here. Also, some more local news. But first, the weather forecast for today and tomorrow. We're looking at a heat advisory still in effect until 8 o'clock Saturday for the entire area. It's possible that the heat index values will be at or above 100 degrees, especially inland. That's possible during the afternoon and evening periods. Today's forecast, partly cloudy skies, a slight chance of showers or storms, hot and humid, a high around 93, west winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. We're looking at tonight's forecast being partly cloudy, a slight chance of showers or storms. Warm and muggy continues, low around 73, southwest winds 5 to 10. And then tomorrow's forecast, partly cloudy, slight chance of showers or storms during the day. We'll hope for no wind or light winds anyway. So ABC News now, and then local news coming up next.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. As President Biden and former President Donald Trump prepare to debate next week, there is a lot of money being raised for their campaigns. Here's ABC's Em Nguyen.
Former President Trump and the RNC appear to have out-fundraised President Biden's campaign for a second consecutive month. The Biden's campaign and the DNC revealing they brought in $85 million last month, far short of the $141 million raised by Trump's political operation.
More than a dozen Supreme Court decisions are still to be handed down with just a week to go before the justices break for the summer. A big one yet to be announced, whether presidents, including Donald Trump, deserve absolute immunity from criminal prosecution for any actions taken while in office. The heat dome that stretches from the Missouri Valley and Great Plains up into the Northeast, leaving more than 100 million people sweltering. The weather leading to Amtrak problems along the nation's busiest rail corridor Thursday. This is ABC News.
WSJM News now. Team coverage from the WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
And taking a look at some of the local news stories from the WSJM Newsroom. We're just over 6 weeks away from the August primary elections in Michigan, and there's a slew of candidates and millage questions for voters to decide. We'll talk about a couple of them coming up at 8 o'clock. One of them, Berrien County voters will be asked to approve 3 countywide millage renewals in August. Officials are spreading the word about what each millage means. The county is seeking renewals of the Senior Center millage, the 911 millage, and the Public Safety millage. Again, more on that coming up at 8 o'clock. And then also in Hager Township, they're being asked for a new public safety millage. It's to renew the fire department millage that expired last December, but then also add 24/7 ambulance service. So we'll talk with the township supervisor, Izzy DiMaggio, coming up at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock as well. Also, with a new interim leadership team in place at the local economic development group Cornerstone Alliance, they are reconsidering their current condition and looking at their priorities before launching the search for a new long-term leader. Cornerstone president and CEO Rob Cleveland, as we know, is stepping down and leaving for a new position next month. And named as interim CEO is Cornerstone board president John Janik. He tells us they're not going to rush into finding Cleveland's replacement. And they say before a search begins, they're doing some internal assessments. So we'll tell you what that looks like coming up at 8 o'clock as well. We'll continue our interview with Larry Wozniak talking about Lest We Forget and the 80th anniversary of the D-Day invasion. That's coming up next on the WSJM Morning Show.
The Michigan News Network.
I'm Beth Fisher. There are still thousands of outages remaining following Wednesday night's severe storms in Metro Detroit. The DTE.
All right. Larry, you were mentioning before we stopped that your network reaches out to the network of reenactors. And it fascinates me of the different reenactors. There are some for the Civil War. Now we know with yours, there's World War II. I'm sure there are other communities out there that do the reenactments. Why do people do that? Why is it important?
Again, it's teaching. They all know that the word, the activities we did in the past, are not being taught in schools. It's not talked about a lot, in news. There are books and movies out, of course, but those things are important to people to share and people to learn from them. So.
Yeah, and in many cases, I mean, you can't get the same experience from a book than either A, being there, or seeing it like you're going to show tomorrow.
Right.
How do you go into the planning for? I mean, how do you decide which element of the reenactment is going to happen?
Well, like this year, we're doing the Normandy at 10 o'clock. That's the big battle everybody knows about. But the 1 o'clock battle is Saipan, which is a Japanese battle in the Pacific. It's not too well known. In fact, that battle was going on today, 80 years ago. It's still going on right now. It started June 15th. And so we figured that, because of the 80th anniversary, we chose that battle. It's also one that people aren't really familiar with. If they served in the Pacific, they may know about it. But there were a lot, there was a lot of activity there too in the Japanese. So we have Japanese reenactors. We have German reenactors. We have more German reenactors than Japanese.
Really?
So some of the Germans are going to change uniforms and be Japanese for the second battle, but you'll never know.
My dad was part of that battle.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you reenact?
No, I do not. I've not done that. No.
He's the orchestra.
Yeah, right.
You're the conductor. You lead the whole thing. It seems like a fascinating community because they're not wearing the new Nike uniforms that they gave to the Major League Baseball. These are period accurate,
and they're heavy material. There's going to be extra hot for those guys out there. So.
I was going to ask you. I mean, what do you do to prepare for that?
And they got their backpacks on, and the rifles are not the little plastic guns. They're full heavy. This ammunition is all blanks, but they got a lot to deal with.
Obviously, the event is happening tomorrow, and maybe you've practiced for this. I don't know. I mean, how do you rehearse?
Well, they've done it several times over the years, some different places. The last time they were here was 10 years ago for this. Although we've had small skirmishes on, when we did our river site the last 5 years,
right.
We had a small group of 15 or 20 would come in and do a little demonstration. But this is a lot more than a demonstration. This is a full invasion.
I mean, how when people are looking at it and watching the reenactment, are they seeing historically documented? Okay, there were this many people here. There were this many people here. They ran up at this point. How do you orchestrate that? How do you make that?
There were thousands that came to Normandy.
Right.
We got 200. So
so the numbers are going to be representative.
Our announcer on the microphone during the whole battle will be telling the history and what they're seeing and what was really happening and how things went on. So it's a small version of that, but it will be effective.
Who's going to be on the microphone?
Bill Sheets from Indianapolis. He's been doing it for years. He's a great historian. He's not military either. He's a great historian though. And they do reenactments all over the country. And they also like doing 1812. So they keep pushing us to do an 1812 battle up here. We haven't done that yet.
Oh, the overture. I mean, the 1812 overture is fabulous music.
Next year, we're doing Afghanistan, Iraq, the Desert Storm. The year after, we're doing bicentennial, semi-quincentennial, the 250th anniversary of the Constitution. So that's Revolutionary War.
Okay.
And the year after that, we're planning on doing the Native Americans in the military history from the Code Talkers on up. So we haven't got 1812 on the schedule yet.
Where will those reenactments take place?
Well, we're not sure. We've been using a site, the river by Upton Drive, and it went on for the last several years. And there's now talk about putting condos there. So we may lose that spot.
Okay.
We'll have to find out what's next. The airport's always a good place to go because there's a lot of land out there, but the water makes it better. They have access to for those kind of invasions and things.
Where is the best place for people who want to watch this to watch from?
We're expecting 3,000 to 4,000 people based on past events. The pier will be full of people. We're hoping people will bring their chairs. We'll have bleachers out there. Like the football team from St. Joe is moving the bleachers from the baseball field in high school to the pier today at 10 o'clock.
Wow.
They're going to load those up and put them on a trailer and haul them over.
You don't
there.
fool around.
You know? And we got about 200 chairs rented that will be out there, but we're hoping people will bring their own long chairs and they can sit on the pier, or the first 50 feet along the pier north on the sand is also going to be available for public viewing.
Okay.
What's the reaction of veterans who lived those events?
You know, we have probably 5, but definitely 3 World War II veterans that are attending tomorrow. The oldest one is from Albion. He's 106. He and his wife are coming, and we've been talking to him for a couple of months now. The other ones are living locally here. Well, actually, one lives in Grand Ledge. His son lives here in St. Joe, so he's coming from Grand Ledge. We have Gloria Weberg, who lives in St. Joe. She's 102. She's hoping to be there. Everything's day to day for a lot of these people. But and then George lives on Washington Avenue in St. Joe. He was in the Navy. He was in the Pacific. He's 99. So we got reserved seating for them and their families, and that'll be up front, and they'll be introduced to the crowd. Most of them said, I said to them, we're going to introduce you, but you don't have to speak. Oh, I'll speak. Give me that mic,
Do they get emotional?
Yes, they do. They do. Yeah. Because everybody has, there's memory problems as you get older, they say, but you never forget the stuff way back. It's, it's all recent memory issues that people have. They know this stuff. And George Langdon in St. Joe here, I was over here at his house for an hour the other day, and he's just going on and on. He's got everything is detailed. He knows it all and remembers it all.
That's great. That's great.
But with the D-Day, you're mentioning the age of these World War II veterans. It's as it was World War I. They're not getting too many left, are there?
If they went in when they were 17, lied about their age or whatever, they're 97 today. So that's
the
youngest ones who went in. He lied about his age to get in.
He could get in it. My grandfather was killed yet. There were 6 children. He left home after his sophomore year because there was no money.
Yeah.
And he got in right before the war. And I was telling Larry about the movie Greyhound. But, that was to think what they did at that age. It's just mind blowing.
It is
compared to what
our teenagers do. Well, they've got the TikTok to do, the dance moves and that kind of thing. No, it's
just absolutely amazing what they did to preserve democracy around the world.
Yeah,
from 2 total tyrants, from Hitler and emperors,
halfway around the world. We will talk more about that with Larry Wozniak from the Lest We Forget organization, D-Day. It's the 80th anniversary, and the reenactment is coming up tomorrow on Tuscarnia Beach. We'll be right back. It's the WSJM Morning Show. And we're continuing the conversation with Mr. Larry Wozniak from Lest We Forget, talking about the D-Day invasion reenactment that's going to be on Tuscarnia Beach tomorrow. Thank you again for joining us. We appreciate you. And if you've missed any of our conversation, we've been doing it the entire time on the live stream as well, the video live stream. Just go to Facebook, YouTube, or X, and you can type in WSJM, and you can find us there. But you brought a T-shirt in, and we showed it briefly on the video live stream. What is on the front of the T-shirt is A World at War, the 80th anniversary commemoration of the D-Day invasion, Normandy and Saipan. But on the back of that shirt, tell us what's there, Larry.
Well, when I thought about designing the shirt, concert shirts list the dates of their places. So I thought I need a list of something. So that's what we thought about doing, all the cemeteries and memorials that are in Europe from the World War II. So we listed how many people are buried there, how many people are still missing in action. 77,000 people still missing in action from World War II of the 405,000 men that died during that time.
77,000 people still missing.
Can you imagine the pain of those parents?
What's the theory of what happened to them?
Well, some of them, just went down at sea, when planes went down and things like that, ships that got sunk, there's a lot of that, that type of thing. But it's just, we're still finding people today, A couple of years ago, it was a Rabarski was from St. Joe, but his body was found 70 years later and brought home, so.
But that to me would be the most, as a
parent,
we're
absolutely.
all parents.
Yep.
Number one, your child's going to war. Number two, getting that message that they're gone, but we can't find. I mean, that'd be something I think would be every parent's nightmare.
Yeah. The action begins tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Music provided by the Southwest Michigan Symphony Orchestra. You'll begin with
it's a pop-up group, small group,
That's still.
That'll be nice.
That's
That'll
good.
be nice. A parachute flag drop and an inspection of the grounds by German High Command. And you mentioned that this is how many times have you done this at Tuscarora? It's been 10 years.
This is the 5th time we've done the D-Day.
And so it'll be
since 2008 was the first time.
It'll be special. What kind of hurdles do you face in trying to plan an event like this?
It takes money to put this on.
Yeah, let's talk about the sponsors.
We've been lucky. This is a $90,000 project this year. It would have been more with the planes from Yankee Air Museum, but we're down to $90,000. But we've had help. So the Upton Foundation, Frederick Upton Foundation, gave us $15,000 this year.
That's great.
The Berrien Community Foundation gave us $10,000. The Benton Harbor St. Joseph Rotary Foundation gave us $10,000.
Wow.
Judith Fellon in St. Joe gave us $10,000. So that was half of our donations right there. Wow. The Shallon Foundation gave us giving us $10,000, we think. So, it helped. And then the rest of it all comes from the people from doing from $5 to $20. We had a lot of $1,000 donors over the last year, but that's what we do. It's all based on. There's no government money coming from this. It's all based on local donations.
Yeah. And you have a board too, correct?
We do. We have a board of 11 people. We meet monthly. We have our membership meetings monthly as well.
How many people are members then?
Members, we're up to 462 as far as our number of members. Some of those have passed, so we haven't. They're not active members or they're not around anymore.
At that point, no.
But our average meeting, we get about 50 to 70 at a meeting.
Really?
Every month, first Wednesday of the month at the Benton Harbor Airport, 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, well, that's a great turnout. To me, that's a lot of people.
Brian Love is the MVA, the Michigan Veterans Agency Association. He's the director, and he was the last speaker at our June meeting. So he came in from Lansing.
Do you have any idea, if you point on a map of the United States or even the world, I don't know, how many people, where are people coming from to be reenactors as part of this?
To be reenactors?
Yes.
Mostly the Midwest. There's another event this weekend going on in Texas.
Okay.
They're going to be hot down there too.
Yeah.
So some of the Southern reenactors went that direction.
Okay. They'd have been smarter to be up here at yours.
Yeah, well, maybe. Yeah. There's different associations. All the reenactors belong to different associations. They're all insured, so we through their association.
Okay.
We have those issues to take care of. They sign up in advance. Many of them ordered T-shirts in advance. We're selling those for $20. They got them for $15 as a reenactor. So we made a little deal with them. But they're all arriving today. In fact, some of them came in last night. Most of them are arriving today. They'll all be camping out at the airport.
Right. I was just going to ask
and they
you
want
about that.
people to come to the airport and walk through their camps and ask questions and visit them and see how they lived, back then. And it's all authentic. They'll be having 200 breakfasts being served at 5:30 tomorrow morning. Again, Sunday morning. They're cooking meals out there right there at their mess tent.
Okay.
So it's going to be they're authentic. They live it. They live the part all weekend long.
So really, from 9 till almost 4 o'clock, you're going to be busy on the beach tomorrow.
Right. We should be cleaned up and out of there by 4 o'clock.
Cleaned up and out of there by 4 o'clock. That's when the permit expires, huh?
Right. Okay. The football team's got to move those bleachers off of there again.
If people want to be a part of Lest We Forget, to help you keep this memory enshrined in the next generation, how can they get involved?
Come to our meeting. You can sign up for a membership on our website, lestweforgetusa.org. Our membership is pretty expensive. We're $10 a year or $50 lifetime.
Wow.
And if you're over 80, it's free.
Okay. All right. That's a good deal.
What if you just get married last weekend?
Yeah, well, that's another. He's a weekly anniversary, so it ties in with our 80th anniversary. Where will you be in 80 years?
Well, exactly. Here and celebrating with you. though. That'll be great. Anything else people need to know about tomorrow's reenactment?
Just get to the parking lots, get the shuttle bus, bring your chairs if you can, and expect a good entertainment.
No animals allowed. No. I mean, there's going to be a lot of booms and everything.
We haven't addressed that, but yeah, I think it would be pretty hot for animals out there.
It's going to be hot. It's going to be loud.
I would say don't bring them.
Don't bring them. Yeah, that's probably not a good idea.
And meet the World War II veterans that'll be there.
Yeah, that'll be exciting. Cool. That's great. What do you have, 5?
We have 5 for pretty much like 5. A couple of them are still on the iffy side, depending on what happens that morning.
It's going to be hot tomorrow.
It's going to be hot, yeah.
But maybe we'll get a little bit of cool snap there and low breeze, and you'll be able to do everything that you want to do. So
Robert Holt from Albion is 106, and he is calling us all the time. I'm ready. I'm going to be there. Awesome. I'm bringing my wife. Well, his first wife was married 54 years. This is his second wife.
Okay. All right. Well, Larry Wozniak, thank you for coming in. Thank you for doing this for the community and for the next generation. Lest we forget, the 80th anniversary of D-Day, the invasion reenactment, is happening tomorrow at Tuscarnia Beach. You can park nearby, take a shuttle. It'll take you 5 minutes, and then enjoy the reenactment and really understand what it meant that day. That's incredible.
Thank you, Ken.
No, absolutely. We appreciate you coming in. It's the WSJM Morning Show. We've got more coming up in just a few minutes. The Moody on the Market update. We'll have the latest from ABC News. Thanks for joining us. Okay, back on the live stream here for just a moment. That was fun. That was good.
He's passionate about it and does great at it. And to hear all of what they have planned for future years already.
Right. Afghanistan.
Yeah.
That was a surprise to me. So I'm glad they're planning that far ahead. They probably have to plan that far ahead.
Right.
Because you've got so many of the reenactors involved in so many of the different events that are coming up.
But it's important, for people to understand history.
Yeah.
And I love history. And I think it's, I think we shortchange our children in school today, not teaching enough of history. Because if you don't teach it, you end up repeating it.
That's right. That's right. Okay, we'll be right back with the Moody on the Market update. It's coming up in just a moment. Something.
We're watching over you. IMS Insurance Management Service.
IMS is proud to partner with Auto Owners Insurance.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
And thanks again to Larry Wozniak for coming in from Lest We Forget to talk about the reenactment that's happening tomorrow on Tuscarnia Beach. Right now, we do have the Moody on the Market update. It's brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today, your local auto owner's insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles, and talking today a little bit about some more alternative transportation advancement happening in Berrien County. The Berrien County Board of Commissioners has accepted a new grant for the Red Arrow Highway Linear Park. It's a $1.5 million state transportation alternative program grant that will help continue construction of the paved trail that goes along Red Arrow Highway for about 2.7 miles from the Berrien Street area to Lakeshore Road in Chickaming Township. Commissioners were told in January the Berrien County Road Department had applied for the funding in conjunction with the Southwest Michigan Planning Commission. With the funds now approved, work can begin on the next stretch of the trail, which is intended to eventually run all the way from the Indiana state line to Bridgman. Construction this year has focused on Red Arrow Highway from US 12 to Community Hall Road. The $1.4 million was accepted by commissioners Thursday. It'll be added to $373,000 match made by Chickaming Township And although the county will own the trail, it has not yet accepted responsibility of maintaining it. That'll be left to the township, which works with the Planning Commission and the Friends of Berrien County Trails to secure the grants. You say, you worry about that?
Who plows it?
Well, I mean, are you walking on the trail in the wintertime?
I mean,
I'd like to,
you
I
have
guess.
sidewalks that have to be plowed.
Does it snow here anymore? Who's plowing that?
Yeah, well.
If it doesn't snow. All right. Well, those are some of the questions that we're asking about the trail. But I think I love the trails on the roadside like that. I mean, especially if you're going down Red Arrow Highway when you enter New Buffalo and that kind of, well, before New Buffalo, you get nice trails on the roadside. What is it, a road diet? Do you call it a road diet?
Yeah.
Where you take it from 4 lanes down to 2 lanes? Why not?
Just don't do it. Don't think it's the best way of doing it. Every county has their own version of it.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll talk more about that soon. But that's the Moody on the Market update. It's brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today, your local auto owners insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles. We've got another hour yet ahead of the WSJM Morning Show. We'll have ABC News. Give us the latest on world and national news. That's coming up at 7 o'clock, or 8 o'clock, rather. I'm off an hour today. Why is that? Oh,
because you got married. You're so excited. Time's flying by still. You know?
Get excited. You're yawning over there on camera. Remember, the cameras are still on.
I know. I was just tired.
All right. Weather forecast for today. We're looking at partly cloudy skies, a slight chance of showers, but mostly it's just going to be hot and humid throughout the area. Although there will be those cool respites. I mean, yesterday afternoon was nice. Just nice. A 93 is the high expected today. Tonight, partly cloudy, slight chance of showers or storms. Warm and muggy. It's low around 73, and then partly cloudy tomorrow with a slight chance of showers and storms during the day. We could see some of those winds pick up. They are calling for gusts of 30 miles per hour tomorrow. I think that's going to happen late in the afternoon.
Okay, not at 9 a.m. when the flag
I don't
drops.
think it's going to be in the morning.
Good.
I think that's probably going to be part of that weather system trying to move stuff out.
Okay.
And so if that happens, then the gusts will be later in the afternoon. So for Lest We Forget's cause, we hope that that's the case because they've got their 80th anniversary D-Day commemoration happening tomorrow. And so if you want more information on that, just go to their website. It's at lestweforgetusa.org. Thanks for joining the morning show. We'll be right back with more in just a minute.
Shop local, buy local, save big deals.
Hey, it's Jenny from your local big deal store. Can I let you in on a little shopping secret? Give a gift of a gift certificate. People love getting gift certificates. When you're making your purchase on big deals, simply check the gift box icon and we'll send you a giftable certificate.
Okay. What else is going on? What are you doing this weekend?
Well,
Come on.
nothing to top you. I'll tell you what. You
That was
set
last
the bar
week.
pretty high. It's
You had your opportunity Monday to talk about this.
I wasn't
and
here.
you chose not to come in.
No, we had.
You were slacking off.
Not slacking. I was.
What were you doing? Playing basketball?
Not playing. I was. That's at lunch today.
Oh, okay.
We
That's
took
right.
our.
You got your Friday lunch.
Yeah, we took our girls. I invited you to it. If you wanted to
I
come.
don't play basketball. I used to play basketball when I was a
Then
kid.
you would fit right in with the rest of us. We go from age 35 to 75.
Oh my goodness.
No, I took the our Bangor girls, myself and assistant coach. I don't know the last time if they ever went to a team camp. So we went up to Petoskey and Charlevoix.
Oh,
had a great time, and
nice.
A lot of our young ladies don't have the financial whereabouts to get out of Bangor much. So for them, it was
Took them out there.
Great vacation.
That's great. You ever chew gum?
I used to chew a lot of gum.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I swallow too much air.
Oh yeah, I do that too.
And it's just like, that's not good for those around me.
I wonder if they have an anti-air swallowing gum available.
I would, if they do.
That would be a good innovation.
I chewed a lot during church, and that's the worst time to do it.
Oh, don't do that.
I know. I've cut
The only
back.
thing worse than chewing gum in church is, two things. Number one is public speaking. If you're chewing gum while you're doing that, you should never do that.
Agree.
And number two is chewing gum while you're on the radio. So please don't do that.
No. Football, I eat pizza, though.
While you're talking on the air. That does not surprise me.
Yeah, you're not surprised. Trust me.
No,
You're not about that.
we'll talk about gum and the latest TikTok stupid thing in just a moment. I know.
Are you on TikTok? I'm not.
I am not. No,
No, neither.
it's a time waster. So We'll come back and talk about that in just a moment. It's the WSJM Morning Show. Thanks for joining us on the video live stream. We'll come back and say goodbye if we can in just well, actually, can we do that? We may be able to do that. But thanks for dealing with our technical difficulties this morning. I promise it wasn't me this time. It was the internet. It was the internet. The computer wasn't connecting.
I did see Terry go in that room.
Oh, did he go fix something?
I think
probably. So. I hope so. All right, we'll be right back. It's the WSJM Morning Show.
New Buffalo to St. Joe. Harrier, turn to the experts and feel at ease with McGee's.
Feel at ease with McGee's.
From the Pat Moody Studios, this is News Talk Sports 94.9. WSJM FM Benton Harbor, St. Joseph. Depend on us. The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
And in just a moment, we'll go to ABC for the latest national news. One thing, Brett, that I wanted to ask you about, we were talking about it on the live stream a second ago, is gum. You don't chew gum anymore because you swallow too much air.
I don't chew nearly as much as I used to.
Nearly as much as you used to. I like chewing gum, but again, because of the career occupation that I have, you don't chew gum while you're on the air because blah, blah, blah. It's rude. But TikTok, the latest stupid new fad that's out there. I hate to use that word, but it is.
To go in correlation
it
with
really,
TikTok.
It really does. We've got 40 seconds to talk about this. They're now saying there's a fad going on, including a handful of companies that are advertising stronger gum that's harder to chew. Why are they selling it? They're selling it because it'll give you that, they say, it'll give you a chiseled jawline if you chew our gum. It's like working out the muscles in your face. It doesn't work.
Oh, it doesn't work?
The medical experts have weighed in on this now.
Okay.
And they have said, you're basically chewing gum and that's it. Your face isn't going to get any kind of more muscular definition. It
might get TMJ.
You might get TMJ. There's somebody who pointed to a study that said mice were getting better jawlines or better bone structure there, but the doctors have said no, that doesn't apply at all. So we'll talk about that and more coming up. It's the WSJM Morning Show. Yeah, I mean, it's just complete and utter nonsense. Chewing gum because the study, and I didn't have time to mention this, but the study showed that mice given harder food to chew did in their early years apparently have stronger bone structure in their jaws. But that's early on,
like babies.
As babies, yeah. and they fed them a consistent diet and they blah, blah, blah. Who knows what the study...
It's a scam.
It's a scam. It's a total scam. And so the people who are selling this harder to chew gum are trying to make money saying you're going to get the model face by doing this workout with the gum. Yeah. It's ridiculous. I don't know. I mean, they've got duck lips, right? You do the duck lips for the photos, like that. Maybe blowing.
Some people, that's all they ever do.
Maybe blowing bubble gum. Yeah, you can train your duck lips to be even more voluptuous that way. Anyway, it's the WSJM Morning Show. Sometimes we talk about nonsense. This is one of those times. Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate you. Brett, thanks for coming in again. We've got you for the next few minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm here till 9 on Friday.
Okay, you can hang out. I forget. Your schedule is so weird.
Yeah, it's pretty complicated, isn't it?
All right. We'll talk soon. Thanks again for joining us.
On whether doctors can perform emergency abortions to women whose health is in danger and in one involving absolute immunity from criminal prosecution for U.S. presidents. A very low-flying